Central Virginia. Are you ready to rumble? Fasten your safety belt and hold on tight. The community watchdog is in the house. This is the Schilling Show with your host, former city councilor Rob Schilling on News Radio 1070 and 98.9 FM WINA.
Rob Schilling's a freedom fighter. He's a brave man. He's an honest man.
Hey, the Schilling Show continues here with an unexpected guest, and I'm glad that we were able to work this out because we've been talking about it for a while, and it's been a while since Wes Bellamy has been a guest on this program. You know, our tagline is all points of view are welcome, and I mean that very sincerely. And so, Wes Bellamy, I welcome you to the Schilling Show.
My man, Rob Schilling. What's up, man?
Hey, it's good to have you back with us. And
no doubt. I used to come on here all the time.
Well, you've been on 7 times. I went back and counted just to see. It's been a while since you've been here. It's been a couple of years, but I'm glad you're back, and I want you to know that you're welcome anytime here.
Is that the most out of, like, any of the current counselors?
Well, Fenwick and Dee Dee Smith appear here all the time.
All right,
but
cool.
it's
They got me beat.
Outside of those, you actually are more than the other ones, so a lot more. Anyway, all right, we don't have a lot of time today, and I hope we can continue this again. But I just wanted to start out first of all by talking about the present state of Charlottesville, and if you are concerned in any way about what's going on. New Seville, I called it New Charlottesville, and I misquoted you.
There you go.
But tell us what it is.
Yeah, so personally, I feel like, Charlottesville, I feel like we're moving in the right direction. So some people are going to say, no, what in the world is going on? We have these protests. We have all of this stuff going on. But my grandmother always taught me, before you can get to clean water, it has to be muddy a little bit. And I believe that what we see right now is a rising in people expressing themselves from different points of views. I think that we're finally starting to address issues in regards to equity. We're finally starting to address issues in regards to some of the different things that we see in the city. And I think that people's voices are being heard. Now, again, that's not always going to be us singing Kumbaya together. Like, sometimes those points of views are going to provide some very tense moments. But personally, I don't think that we are in a bad position per se. When you look at the downtown mall, I was out there last night. Like, I mean, it's packed. When you look at some of the people in terms of, again, finally starting to express themselves, and we're moving forward in the right direction in terms of different initiatives and different policies. I like where we're going. The fact that you and I can have this conversation right now, right, to me, that means that we're moving in the right direction. Like, me and you, we aren't fighting each other. We're not in here, like, pulling each other's hair or anything like that. Like, we're having a civil conversation. How does that not mean that we're not moving in the right direction?
Well, you and I have been like this since we've known each other. And as you pointed out online, we actually go back about 8 years or so.
Yeah,
I met you early on when you came into the community. Mm-hmm. And it's not like that with me. And I sometimes hear people talk about your enemies and all that. I don't have enemies. I don't hate anybody. We may have strong political disagreements, and that's fine. But, you're welcome here anytime.
No doubt.
Jason Kessler has come in on the program. Rick Turner was here for years and as an exclusive venue for what he wanted to say. And a lot of people are like, well, why are you having Rick on? Or why would you have Jason on? And I'm sure I'll hear today, how dare you have Wes on the program? Hey, this is a place for us to have a conversation.
Yeah, if we can't talk, then I don't know where we're going to be.
All right. So
juicy stuff. Come on, let's get it.
It is. Let's jump into it. Okay, so you've got this wanting for people to express themselves, and yet to many people, and I'll say, I see some of this, it seems very one-sided. Mm-hmm. There seems to be a bias within the city council chambers, where some people get to speak over the time and other people are cut off immediately, depending on the popularity of the viewpoint. Now, I know that you're not the mayor and you're not holding the gavel on this, but for people who look at this and say, well, if you're favored, you're going to get favorable treatment. Otherwise, people might yell F you. And I know you don't like that because you made a point about that before, about your kids watching in school. And this language is going on and people are holding up the middle finger on TV. I mean, things are really seemingly out of control.
Yeah, I don't know if out of control is like the way I would describe it. I think sometimes, man, we really, like as the young people would say, we size things. That means like you really overhype things. And I don't know.
Okay, I think of people who are harassing people where they have young children.
Okay. All right, you got all called to order? Okay. Officers, we're going to have to remove everybody here who's doing this. All right, let's take a little break. So this meeting, everyone, is going to take a lot longer tonight, probably because of these tactics. And I'd like to move us along, but all right, we're going to take a 5-minute break. 5-minute break.
If I would consider to be out of control. I think a lot of people are passionate. I look at someone, you had Mr. Hayden on yesterday, correct?
He just called in before you came on the air.
So you have Mr. Hayden. I mean, he comes into the meetings and he's allowed to express himself. Mr. Kessler, who you had on yesterday, he's come in the city council chambers and he's been allowed to express himself. I mean, dude, last 2 times he spoke, literally just went right at me, and nobody cut him off or said like, you know, you're a bad person, Jason, you can't talk. Nobody's done that.
Well, I want to take exception with that because what the mayor has done, and I've seen him only do this on one side, but he says, let him get it over with. You're giving him too much time. There is a characterization of the person's speech there that doesn't happen when somebody from Surge gets up there. The mayor doesn't say, hey, just let her talk. You're giving her too much time. You're letting her focus her attention. And that's the sort of thing I'm talking about.
But I will say to his credit, though, the mayor has also gotten on Surge. I remember a couple of meetings ago and they were doing the humming and all of that stuff. And he even went at sending some people out. So, I mean, you know, he tries to do the best job he can. It's a very difficult job.
Let him finish, everyone. Guys, we gotta. If anybody makes the coughing, has got to stop. I'll ask you to be escorted, and if anybody makes, and please hold the time. You'll have to leave. So let's just let him finish and show us what you think with your hands. Even this singing, I'm gonna have to suspend the meeting. We're not gonna be able to get through the naming. Okay. Should we suspend the meeting? We need to just get through. We have another 10 speakers.
Make them leave. You would throw me out.
It's a little hard. There's too many people for me to. Okay, we're gonna have to send a meeting. That's what we're gonna have to do.
How about just remove them? Yeah, how about remove them?
Somebody, if I can, it's a little hard for me to tell the council.
You're giving the person you disagree with twice as much
Yeah,
time.
this is. All right, sir. Can we please continue?
Would you tell the cops to stand by and watch a stalker scream and taunt?
All right, this is ridiculous. This is. Officers, if you all could occupy down in the front rows, you can. This is like adolescent. We're a grown-up city here, and we deserve to be able to get through a meeting. Okay, all right. So let's go.
Don't have the courage to stand on the front lines with them, but stand back in the shadows while they get charged and ruin their lives. You don't think that's intentional?
Like, you've been on council.
I have.
I mean, you know. So I think some people don't quite get what it takes to run a meeting like that. And everybody thinks that they can do it the right way. Now, again, I'm not here to make excuses for anybody, the right or the left or whoever. But don't just sit there and say, like, throw stones from a glass house and just say, like, oh, I would have done X, Y, and Z. Because, man, you know, like, Rob, you and I know each other. Like, you know and I know. That job up there is not the easiest. And, again, I'm not making excuses for anybody. But I think everybody has to just calm down a little bit. Like, on everybody's side, let's calm down. Like, what are the things that we agree on? And I feel like no matter who you are, or excuse me, a lot of people rather, we all can agree that we didn't want the KKK here last week, right?
No one was happy they were here.
Right.
But I think we would also agree that they have a right to come here and to say what they want to say like anybody else can.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. It's their First Amendment right? Yeah. And free speech goes both ways, though. So the same way they have the right to be able to express themselves, other people have the right to be able to express their disagreement with what they're saying.
Absolutely, they do.
Yeah.
Hey, our phone lines are pretty much full right now.
Banging.
So let's
They
jump
all
into
wanna
it.
talk.
And I'm going to ask everybody to please be concise because we have very little time with Wes, and I've already invited him back here for a longer period. So let's go right to the phones and say hello to Kenny Jackson. Kenny, you're on with Wes Bellamy.
Good morning. I mean, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good
Hey,
afternoon, Wes. Kind of confused in some of these statements. And maybe it's because I've been in Charlotte for all my life. I mean, I don't understand why people think that we're the little dumb black people that outsiders need to come in and help out.
Who thinks
You know,
that?
this situation has never happened. And the divisiveness that's in Charlottesville today has not happened. Never. The
Some would disagree with
disrespect
that,
showed
Kenny.
at city council meetings.
Some of your classmates, there's a lot of people within this city who've been here just as long as you have, would strongly disagree with some of the things that you've been saying.
Well, I don't think so. I don't think so, especially since I saw a lot of them at Fellini's the other night. Now, please don't try and overtalk me, and please let me get my thing out.
All right, cool.
And then you can respond. See, that's one of your problems, too. You're rude, just like when you call me Pops at city council meeting.
I called you Pop.
Don't call somebody out of their name unless they ask you to.
Yes, you are.
Thanks, Pops. Okay.
You actually did say that. I heard
called him Pops?
You said, okay, Pops.
That probably
Yeah,
Because he said he was old enough to be your
Mr.
father.
Bellamy,
Yeah,
I'm
he's
old enough to be your father.
Well, I think he's
Okay.
chastising
Maybe it's just, and you always laugh at everything. This is serious.
I'm a happy guy.
And to say
man.
we're moving in a positive direction, maybe you should have been over in the projects with all the units all busted up. Mom Maybell sitting over there and can't even open her door.
I'm literally there every day. I'm going over to West Haven when I leave here. Help me out.
So literally go over there, because I've heard a lot of things from the old classmates, too.
Okay.
You say the same thing I say.
Okay.
But, that'll come up, and you'll figure that out on your next election.
Okay.
But really dealing with Charlottesville, you need to stop talking about unity and playing this unity game after you've said so much division in city council. Like I told you before, when I was at the last city council meeting, this is the worst that Charlottesville has ever been. And you guys should be grateful and thankful that you made Charlottesville a laughing stock of not only the country, but the world.
Kenny, I've got to move on because otherwise we're going to run out of time here. Thank you for the call. Wes, anything else to say?
Well, I think
right
there's
now?
a lot of people who are very proud of Charlottesville throughout the state and throughout the country. I mean, a lot of people are very happy that we're standing up for ourselves and that we're talking about equity and we're talking about unity. But again, I don't think that we're just going to be all if everybody agreed with each other all the time, then how will we have a place where people want to live with? And that's the beauty of it. Mr. Jackson and I can disagree. Like, we can disagree on a lot of different things. You and I may disagree on certain things also, and that's okay. We got a lot of callers, so I'll stop.
Let's go right back. There's a line open. Grab it now, 977-1070. James, welcome to the Schilling Show. Quickly, please, because not a lot of time with Wes Bellamy, Vice Mayor.
James, what's up, man?
I have something to say big time.
You said
I have to say this. You started this race hate with moving this statue that was created in the history of the United States, Robert E. Lee. Whether you like it or not, God made it, and all lives matter, not just black. And you need to stop this race hate and really get unity if you're a real Christian man, and stop this Black Lives Matter, all lives matter to God and to man. And the statues are part of our history. Leave it alone.
Okay.
James, thank you. Do you have a response?
So, yeah, race hate, I don't know if I would be sitting here with Rob, who he said I've been coming here since I first moved here. Yeah. So I don't know if how I could hate another race if I'm sitting here chatting with this dude. We've done tons of stuff in the community together. I mean,
but you understand why people have that impression, and I don't want to get into the whole history of the tweets and all that, but I mean, you understand why some people would have the impression, even though I mean, it's not just coming out of nowhere.
Yeah, no, I understand why some people would feel that way. I think there's a lot that goes with it. Like, some people will looking to try to find a reason, and I've apologized to the city, and if I'm going to be judged off of what I did when I was 22, 23, 24, and I'm 30 now, hey, again, I apologize for what happened before, but I've literally grown up as a young man here in this city, meeting people like you and meeting others. So, I'm married now. I have kids now. I don't even think the way that I used to before. I've grown up. I've matured.
Yo, about to go on the Rob Schilling Show.
face a real life troll. I don't even think he was a troll, he's just his listeners, but you know, it is what it is. My existence is a resistance. So let's get. And again, I appreciate a lot of people here in the city who've helped me mature as a young man. As far as the statue is concerned, we can agree to disagree on that, but we got other callers. So
all right, let's go back to it. Jason Kessler's on line 3. Jason, you're on with Wes Bellamy. Go right ahead.
Rob.
We don't have a whole lot of time. Go ahead.
Yes, I've never had Wes Bellamy ever have a conversation with me before. Wes, in the past, you have said that you're not just going after Robert E. Lee. I mean, before your racist anti-white tweets were exposed, you said we need to take a look at Thomas Jefferson and Monticello next. Do you still feel that way? You feel like Thomas Jefferson should be torn down since he was a slave owner?
Well, one, I've never said that we should tear down the statue.
You said
of
we
Robert
should take another look at Monticello. What do you mean by that?
All right, let's let him respond so we don't run out of time. I think it's a good question.
Yeah, so one, I've never said that we want to tear down anything. I don't believe that we need to tear down the statue of Robert E. Lee. I believe that it needs to be moved into a different place so that it can be respected in the proper way, not in the middle of our city. So if that means it goes into a Civil War park or whether that means it goes to a museum or something of that nature, I don't want to desecrate the statue in any shape, form, or fashion. In terms of Thomas Jefferson and the founding fathers, if I said that before, I don't necessarily believe that we need to look at removing statues of founding fathers. And if I said that at that point, maybe it was just something I was feeling at the moment. I apologize, but I'm not here to talk about like Thomas Jefferson and all those things. And I think that people like try to use that kind of part of the conversation to deflect on what we're talking about right now. And when we're specifically talking about statues to Confederate generals or memorials to individuals from the Confederacy, that's what we're talking about. Like, let's not talk about all these other things. Let's focus on this point first, and then we can move to others. Now, again, I'm not saying that we need to move Thomas Jefferson statues and any of that other stuff. I'm specifically talking about this statue of Robert E. Lee. That's the one we're talking about. Let's deal with that one, not bounce around everything else.
All right, we're literally out of time and leaving with full lines, and I'm sorry I couldn't get everybody on. The lines are full right now. So can we do this again and another time when you have some more time we come back and continue the conversation?
So we'll see what's up. I'll talk to a few people and see if we can work something out to get my schedule right to come back in here.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a window today and I was like, I saw your Facebook post. So, you know.
Yeah, it's great that you came in today at the last minute, spur of the moment. You're welcome here anytime. Wes Bellamy, thank you very much.
All right, much love, Rob.
I appreciate it. Thank you. All right. We go to the break, and we come back on the other side. I apologize we couldn't get everybody on, but as always, to be continued. Stay with the Schilling Show.